Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to do a deck profile on Bergamo. This is actually probably my favorite deck profile just because this is my favorite leader and my favorite deck. This is a tier 1 deck, so if you build this, kind of be prepared. It gets into, you gotta have Bergamo stuff out, you gotta have a lot of Bergamo in your deck as well as Universe 9. So be prepared for that. So we'll just get right into it. So Bergamo's your leader card. Auto ability, when he attacks the leader card, draw a card. 4 or less life, you awaken him. When you awaken him, you untap 2 energy. He's Universe 9, Trio to Dangers, and Alien. So basically, for this particular deck, you're mostly going to run Universe 9, Trio to Dangers, not too much Alien. You're mostly worried about the Universe 9, Trio to Dangers, like I was saying. So when he awakens, like I said, untap 2 energy. We'll get into that later on how that works relatively well with this deck. So this permanent with this Bergamo is if you have Lavender and Basil on the field, your opponent's leader card can't attack this leader card. So that works really well if you have leader cards you go against, like the Goku Universe 7s, Friezas, any of the meta right now. Those leader cards really do have to attack a leader card. If you have Lavender and Basil, basically that's going to negate that ability. And then when he attacks, you draw a card. So this Bergamo is relatively, he's just an average leader. You really use him for his permanent ability once he's awakened, and he does really well. But mostly the deck profile is going to be based around the soul deck more than the leader card itself. So let's get right into it. We're going to actually start with the support for this deck instead of the actual Trio to Dangers and Lavender Basil stuff for Bergamo. So the first one is going to be Universe 9 Supreme Cyril. I run 4 of him. So he's a 3 cost, 2 blue. So this is a mono blue deck. Bergamo is blue, as you can see down here in the bottom right. So with this one, basically what Universe 9 Supreme Kai does is when you play him, you look at the top 2 cards from your deck, you choose Universe 9, and you add it to energy. So basically you're getting extra energy every time you play him. If you run the flute, the 0-drop flute, you can bounce this back to your hand, and then play him again, and you get another Universe 9. Everything in this deck pretty much is Universe 9, so you don't have to worry about anything. So you want to use this relatively smart, so if you know what you're doing, you can get at least extra energy every other turn, so you'll be at least that turn ahead. So that's kind of what he's used for, relatively good support. Next is another Universe 9. This is going to be Striker Rozelle. Let's see here, I'm going to run 4 of him in this particular deck. He's a nice little 1-drop quick 5,000, and you get a look at your top 3 and get a Universe 9 from there and add it to your hand. So basically, he's a nice search engine to get your Lavender and your Basil out quicker. And like I said, he's just a 1-drop, so he's a nice little combo card. So once you drop him, you can combo with him or use him as you need. 5,000, so he's a relatively good combo card, but like I said, he's going to be used mostly to get through your deck faster, and that's why I run 4 of him, because I can get through. If you run just these 4, that's 12 cards you're going to search through to try to get your Lavender and Basil. Other than that, it's pretty much just a combo card at that point. Next is going to be Oregano. I only run 2 of him just because I didn't see a need to run more than 2 this particular deck. He's another search engine. Reveal Universe 9 and draw 2 cards basically. So play him. Auto, when you play, you can reveal Universe 9. Put that Universe 9 at the bottom of the deck. Draw 2 cards. So again, this is another draw engine more than anything, so that's kind of why I only run 2, because I don't want to really throw things back in my deck. I'm trying to get it rotated out to get my Lavender and Basil. So that's why I run 2. Again, nice little combo card, nice attack, quick drop, simple stuff like that. Next I'm going to run is the Iron Skin. This one's a nice card. I only run 2 of him, though, just because he is a higher cost. And like I said, I'm trying to get more of my Bergamo stuff out. So this one's kind of nice just to put out. Like I said, 4 cost. Most of the stuff is low cost, but this one's a nice 20,000 double striker for 4, 2 blue. And this one's also, if you're pretty much going to run, if you're trying to get your cards and you think there's some in your life, this works really well. So if you're Universe 9, add 1 card to your life. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place that at the bottom of their deck. So it's a nice little control card. I only run 2 just because I don't need to really control a board too often. And if I get him out, he's really pretty much a good defender, trying to make sure that Bergamo's not going to get hit too many times. Next is going to be Cyril, the Small Warrior. Again, these are all Universe 9 things, so everything I'm running through here is Universe 9. So Cyril is I'm going to run 3. This is basically your super combo. You can run up to 4 super combos. I only run 3 in this particular deck. But just like any other super combo, basically you're going to draw a card, you're going to gain 10,000 power for your combo power. But this combo is nice because it's 5 or less life instead of 4 or less life like most super combos. So it's really nice to have, and again, just like most super combos, it's 12,000 power, but it's Universe 9. And again, like I said, super combo at 5 or less. So if you have that Iron Skin out and you have Cyril in your hand, you can get down to your 5 a little faster, and then you can super combo a little easier. Probably run 3 in this particular deck of that Cyril. Next is the Striker Comfrey. I run 4 of him because this is actually a relatively good card. 3-drop, when you play this card, choose Universe 9 in your hand with energy cost less than or equal to your total energy and play it. So basically, if you play him, you're going to get any of your Bergamo stuff for free. Most of my Bergamo stuff it's anything less than 5. So if you play this on your turn 3, you can have almost anything but Brothers of Bergamo. Brothers Terror Bergamo, excuse me, and that's the 5 cost. Everything else is pretty much less than 4. I think there's 2 cards basically in the Bergamo set. That's one that's 5 cost, one that's 4. Everything else is less than that. So if you play this turn 3, you're going to get one of your Bergamo cards out. You play this turn 4, you're going to get pretty much any of your Bergamos out, except for the big one. So run 4 of those, because that's going to easily get you free cards every time you play one of these. And like I said, 15,000 power is a relatively good card. So it's nice to have for Universe 9. Next is Hyssop. I run 4 of him. He's a low energy cost, again, but he has blocker, and he basically comes in free. If you have Universe 9 already on the field, so like with that 1-drop, if you have Universe 9, he plays for free. So on your turn 1, you play that 1-drop, excuse me, not Oregano, but if you play that Rozelle 1-drop, you're going to get Hyssop for free as long as it's in hand every time. So and if you have more than one Hyssop, you're going to get each one for free because you have Universe 9. Because this does not specify, as you see down here at the bottom of the card, this does not specify once per turn. So you can get multiple of these guys out. So you have multiple blockers out, and again, multiple combo powers. So it's really nice to have. Again, this is support, so you're not going to see really any of the big guns just yet. You're going to see a couple, but not too much. Next is going to be the Striker Hop. I believe, yeah, I run 4 of these guys. So a nice 15,000 3-drop. Has crit, so for a 3-drop, that's really unheard of, is to see this crit ability for low costs. It's kind of nice just to see. There's only a few cards I've actually seen in all 4 sets that have a crit card that's such a low drop with a 15,000 power. And then this also has a nice ability because, so meta doesn't actually use the Zamatsu combos that you'll see me and my buddy use a lot more, but the Zamatsu has a indestructible barrier blocker for 2-drop, 2 grain, and he's a little 5,000, but he's ridiculous. You basically can't get through him. But this permanent is, you're going to ignore blocker, so they can't activate blocker. So if this comes out on the board and they haven't used that blocker yet, this actually helps a lot. That's basically saying, nope, you're not going to use this. I'm going to end up KOing your guy a different way, and I'm not going to have to worry about you using blocker and dealing with that. So that's kind of nice. That's pretty much the support for this deck. I've noticed this support works really well with Bergamo. That's why I think this Bergamo runs a tier 1. So when you run this, if you run Bergamo, you don't have to run this Universe 9 support. I run it just because Universe 9 tends to support Bergamo really well. But that's your support for this deck, so I believe we ran into about 20 or 30 cards, probably right there. So now let's get into the actual Bergamo stuff for Bergamo deck. So the first is actually going to be the only counter in this deck, which is Shining Blaster, which I find funny that it is a Bergamo card. Shining Blaster is a counter. So counterattack, if your leader card is Universe 9, which Bergamo is, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less, return it to the owner's hand. So not only am I going to counter your attack, but I'm going to bounce something to your hand. The only thing this doesn't affect is anything with barrier on it. So nice control board for 1 cost, 1 blue, and it's the only counter I run in this deck, but it works really nicely. If anything, it's just energy, but it works really well for this deck. Next is actually going to be a field card, and that's going to be Dangerous Triangle. So Dangerous Triangle I run 4 of as well. So Dangerous Triangle is a field card, like I said, so you can only have 1 out on the board at any one time. And Dangerous Triangle does require Lavender, Bergamo, and Basil. That's why you see all 3 of them right here. Bergamo, Lavender, Basil, right there. And if you have all 3 of them out, you can negate the skills of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less in the battle area. So say your opponent has that Zamasu out, which is a pain in the butt to get rid of. He's a 4 or less. Guess what? You've negated his barrier and his indestructible. Now you can deal with it. So this works really well for that. So I can deal with pretty much anything on your board state with Dangerous Triangle really well. And it's a 1-drop. So I can get this out fairly easily. I have not seen anything that destroys field cards yet. So pretty much once this is on the board, if you get Bergamo, Lavender, Basil out, pretty much anything 4 or less, you can negate their abilities. They're done. They're just basically whatever their 4 or less is out, that's what they are. Alright, let's get into Lavender. So this is a Trio de Dangers card. So like I said earlier, the leader card is Trio de Dangers, Alien, Trio de Dangers, and Universe 9. This is why it's Trio de Dangers, because I run Trio de Dangers stuff. This is Lavender. This is the only Lavender in existence right now, is the Trio de Dangers Lavender. Little 2 cost, nice power. And if you have this card attacks, if you have another Trio de Dangers in play in your battle area, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 4 or less and KO it. So basically, if you have this Trio de Dangers and even another Lavender out, that automatically triggers this auto ability. So when it attacks, you're going to go ahead and basically blow something up. Go ahead and KO something. And if you have that Dangerous Triangle out and you have Lavender and Basil and Bergamo out, basically you've just dealt with their board with no issues at all. So you'll notice Bergamo is a lot more control-y than most decks that you'll run, but it hits hard and fast. So that's your Lavender. Next is going to be Basil. Again, this is a Trio de Dangers card. Only Basil in existence as well, so far. I'm hoping they're making more of these, but it's getting ridiculous, but they don't. So this is a 3-drop. It is a rare, so it's kind of a pain to get this. This is all the Bergamo stuff is also only in the Tournament of Power. That's where you see it in the set right here, the TB1. So it's a pain to get these. But I see why, because these abilities for these Trio de Dangers are pretty broken. Like this one, if you have another Trio de Dangers, this gains plus 10,000 power or plus 1,000 power for every energy you have and dual attack during your turn. So he's already 15,000 3-drop. So if I have 3 energy, he is now 18,000, and I'm going to attack twice with him. And at a 3 cost, turn 3, that's actually kind of hard to get by. Most of the time, it's only 15,000 guys that are out on turn 3, or turn 2 if you run my particular stuff like the Universe 9s. So like if I put Comfrey out, I could sit here and sit Basil out for free, and now he's going to gain all the abilities because I'm also going to sit out Trio de Dangers Lavender, and now I'm going to basically combo off it all day long. So you can kind of see already why these Trio de Dangers become very broken just in themselves. They all pop off each other really nicely. Next is Trio de Dangers Bergamo. Now this is not the only Bergamo in existence. There's actually 2 more. There's a yellow version, which I do not run because I don't run any yellow in this deck. And the next one, which is a 5 cost, that's the only ones I run. This I can only run 3 of because I haven't pulled the 4th one. That's saying something, considering between me and my buddy, we pulled 3 boxes of Tournament Power, and we've only gotten 3 between us. This is a super rare. And if this in rest mode, they can only target this guy. So that's an automatic permanent right there in the front. Next permanent is if you have like Lavender and Basil out, all your Trio de Dangers gain barrier. So basically this is going to say, don't worry about it. You're not targeting my stuff. You can only hit them. And if I have that field card out, I'm not worried about any of your effects. And this is a really nice card. This has not been errated, so this is kind of fun. Right here, this little auto ability. When this card is attacked, it gains plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Now, that doesn't say once per turn. This says when this card's attacked. So if he's sitting there by himself like this, they have to attack him. If they don't hit more than 25,000, he's not dead. He sits at 25,000 till the end of the turn. They have to hit him again. Now he's at 30,000. So this ability does stack. It's really nice. So I've had it where he gets up to 50,000 in a turn because they have to keep hitting him. And as long as I can combo, I make him bigger, keep him on the board. And since he has usually barrier by the time he's out, I'm not worried about them targeting him with anything else. And I can just sit there and be like, yeah, he's bigger. Yeah, he's still bigger. And they have to combo more and more and more every time they want to hit him. So, really nice card. Works really well. And the final card is the last Bergamo. I run 4 of him. He's the 5 cost. He's Brothers of Terror Bergamo. So he doesn't trigger the Trio de Dangers, but he is a Bergamo. So if I can't get my Trio de Dangers out, I'm at least sending Bergamos out. 5 cost, 3 blue. So he's the highest costing card in this entire deck. 20,000 power, 10,000 combo power for 1. He's a double striker. And it's nice because of this permanent ability right there. When Lavender and Basil are in play, your opponents cannot place cards in their energy zone. So basically, if he hits the board, your opponent no longer has energy to play. They cannot play energy for the rest of the turn. They cannot play energy as long as he sits there. And you have Lavender and Basil out, which you saw, those are not hard to get on the board. So basically, sit this card out. Your opponent's now stuck at however much energy they have, as long as you can keep him on the board and Lavender and Basil. So that's pretty much the deck build. It's not too hard. It's a pretty easy, simple deck forward. It's actually the only deck I've built that's pretty much straightforward. I want to punch you in the face a bunch of times, and I'm going to counter your abilities. So that's kind of what this deck is built around. So that's kind of why this is good. That's why it's also a nice tier 1, because it negates a lot of stuff. So the Goku's Lineage, which just came out in Colossal Warfare, this Trio de Dangers actually negates all those swaps, so they cannot swap anymore for 4 or anything with 4 or less. Barriers no longer being an ability. Indestructible is gone. Pretty much everything that you can think of is gone because of that one field effect. And I'll have that out usually by turn 3. It's already on the board. I already have all 3 of my stuff out that I need, and it's pretty easy to get through. So Bergamo is a very dangerous deck when you build it correctly. This deck's only lost, I think, twice. Both times to the tier 1s that my buddy and I built, which is Goku's Lineage and Vegeta. Those 2 decks are also very broken just because they have the ultimate cards, which I have not seen a single meta run an ultimate card except for one. That was Universe 7, which is the one strike, it hits your life, you automatically win the game. So this deck actually pretty much deals with a lot of that. So it's a really strong deck. It's hard to get around. And other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said, mono blue, Bergamo. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the end of the video in the comments. Like I said, this is a tier 1, so that's pretty much the deck profile I use. Alright, thanks guys.